Hello everyone and welcome to another video here on the Cycling Dane Extra channel. Paris-Nice is one of the biggest one-week stage races in the world and the second biggest when it comes to races in France. The race to the sun, as it is also referred to, is around the corner, and in its illustrious history we have seen some of the biggest names in the sport triumph and stand on the podium when they got into Nice. So in today's video, we are going to look at 5 of the biggest names on this year's start list and see who can challenge to potentially get that yellow jersey. But before we start, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new here. Let's try and see if we can get to 30,000 as quickly as possible. And if you haven't already, why not check out our video about Wout van Aert and his potential decline over on the Cycling Dane channel. But with that out of the way, the first rider on the list is an obligatory Danish pick, and here we have Mathias Jensen, who will be heading up the Little Trek team together with fellow Dane Mads Pedersen. The two will have a two-pronged attack on the flat stages and in the GC. Mathias Jensen had a great year in 2024, and at Paris-Nice he was able to be in the mix, take a stage win and finish 4th overall. Skjelmose is a great one-week stage racer, and last year he did also finish 3rd in the Tour of the Basque Country, as well as a very good ride at the Tour de Suisse, a race he has won in the past as well. So far in 2025, the Dane has been strong in the 2 one-day races of the Drôme Classic and the Ardèche. In the Drôme Classic, he finished 2nd behind Juan Ayuso, who had escaped off the road. This year is going to be a very big year for Mathias Jensen as he's targeting the Tour de France GC. And after his impressive Vuelta a España 5th place and white jersey in 2024, Paris-Nice will be a great test and a stepping stone for him to get the right form for the Tour de France, as many of his rivals will be in this race as well, who will be his rivals in July. Nevertheless, next on the list is Daniel Martinez, the Colombian who will be heading up a very strong Red Bull Bora Hansgrohe that includes the likes of Alexander Vlasov. Daniel Martinez was very strong last year, finishing on the podium in the Giro d'Italia, despite not too much support and very bad luck losing Lipovic early on. And the Colombian will be looking to build on that fine result in 2025. Paris-Nice will be his first race of the season, and he has had a lot of success here in the past. In 2019, he won a stage up the Col de Turini, and fast forward to 2024, he did well on this climb once more, finishing 2nd behind Primož Roglič and ended the race 3rd overall. It will be a big year for Daniel Martinez to also fight off other contenders for leadership within the team, as he aims to do the Giro Tour double this year, so this will be a very good preparation race for him. 3rd on the list is Jaco Ayula new boy Ben O'Connor, who we interviewed on the channel this year. The Australian is another rider who is aiming for the Tour de France, and in 2025 he's already started his campaign in Spain, where he raced the Tour of Valenciana, where he was up there with the favourites and finished 10th overall. Ben O'Connor has some success in one-day races. Last year he was up there in the UAE Tour, for instance, but for Paris-Nice it hasn't been the greatest experience for him, as his best result was at 12th place overall in 2021, and this is also the only time that he's finished the race in his 3 appearances. Jaco Ayula are putting a strong team around him, and that team time trial could certainly be something that they would look to try and win, bringing it back to the Orica Green Edge days. And Ben O'Connor will definitely be up there in the big mountains, and it will be a great test for him to see how good his form is against some of the biggest guys in the sport. Before we get into the top 2, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, as that really helps. And some other riders of note, we could look towards Tien Arendsman heading up Ineos Grenadiers. The 1m92 Dutchman certainly will look to have a big year this year, as that vacuum of a big leader within the team of Ineos certainly is up for grabs for him. Equally, if we have the new boy for Bahrain Victorious, Lenny Martinez, in a French race, he will look to do something really big, the youngster, and he might be in a supporting role here for his teammate Santiago Buitrago, who looked absolutely incredible at the Tour of Valenciana, where he took victories and won the overall, so he could certainly be a big surprise and would like to take a step up as well in the overall GC rankings within the sport. Nevertheless, 2nd on the list is someone that we've interviewed on the channel a few times, and that is none other than Portugal's Joao Almeida, who has already been very good in 2025. Early on, he managed to finish second in the Tour of Valenciana, where he was very strong in the mountains, and he was even leading the race at one point as well. He continued this form into his home stage race of the Vuelta al Algarve, where he was in contention and managed to be up there in the Alto de Foya, finishing second behind the winner and teammate Jan Christen. But crucially, Almeida in the finale managed to distance the favorites group, getting himself a bit of a gap to some of the bigger favorites who finished behind him, and he ultimately finished second overall. Almeida has been at Paris-Nice before, finishing 11th last year, and he did a bit better in 2022 when he finished 8th overall, so he will for sure be trying to improve on this, and maybe he can get himself on to another podium this year. Unsurprisingly, UAE Team Emirates XRG are bringing a phenomenally strong lineup that includes Pavel Sivakov. The Franco-Russian has already done very well, winning the Vuelta Andalusia, and of course we've looked at that in depth here on the channel, so be sure to check that out as well. But without out of the way, the number one rider on our list is unsurprisingly the two-time Tour de France champion and Dane Jonas Vingegaard, who will be aiming to be the first ever Danish winner of the race, as in 2023 he became the first ever Dane to finish on the podium of Paris-Nice. Vingegaard has demonstrated that he's one of the very best one-week stage races of his generation, and has only not won 3 of the one-week stage races that he's participated in since his Tour de France in 2022. And for context, that was the Crow race where he finished second after his Tour de France win, the Tour of the Basque Country where he crashed out, and also Paris-Nice in 2023 where he finished on the podium behind David Gaudu and the eventual winner Tadej Pogačar. Jonas Vingegaard in 2025 hasn't looked as sharp as he did in the beginning of 2024, where he looked invincible. But that aside, his first test in the year was the Vuelta al Algarve, where he didn't look too strong in the first test of the Alto de Foya, where he was distanced by some of the other riders, but still he managed to hold the margin close enough to the front runners that he was able to claw it all back on the final time trial. That was an incredible time trial. He managed to win it, and he had a massive gap down to the likes of Joao Almeida with 30 seconds, so that was a very strong display of power from him. Vingegaard will look to dominate the race and pick up another French one-week stage race to add to his Criterium du Dauphiné title, and Visma Bike will be sending a very strong team around him, with trusted Lieutenant Matteo Jorgensen heading up his mountain support, and of course the American did win the race last year as well. So Visma Bike are certainly the favorites for this race. A lot of pressure on Jonas Vingegaard, and all eyes will be on the Dane, but of course he can handle the pressure, and maybe he'll already add a second stage race to his 2025 account. But anyways, that's basically it for this video. Make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and if you want to see more of Jonas Vingegaard's story of how he got into the sport, why not check out the video of the rise of Jonas Vingegaard, or equally, why not check out our top 5 of Strade Bianche 2025. But for now, thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.